This morning, President Donald Trump is starting his first full day back in office.
But there's already fallout after President Trump signed a flurry of executive actions on issues like immigration, federal workers, and energy his first day back. The president also issued pardons for roughly 1,500 people imprisoned on January 6th related crimes. It was a very busy day for Trump, who took the oath of office inside the Capitol Rotunda building before attending a whirlwind of inaugural events.
Well, this week we could see a sweeping crackdown on immigration after the president issued several executive actions.
This morning, Attorney General William Tong vowing to protect Connecticut families. Your reporter Olivia Schuler has more from the state capitol.
Right now, CNN reports that Trump is focused on deporting immigrants with criminal backgrounds in large cities such as Chicago, Denver, and Washington, D.C. Right now, it's unclear how much this could impact Connecticut families. Attorney General Tong says the possibility would ruin the well-being of families in Connecticut as well as the economy. The executive orders include declaring a national emergency at the border, a mass deportation, and a promise to end birthright citizenship. However, Trump may not have the power to end birthright citizenship. The 14th Amendment says anyone born in the United States is a citizen. That would require a change to the amendment.
Will be at times an unlawful violation of our sovereignty as a state, number one, and also just an unfair and unjust persecution of people who are just here, like my folks, trying to make a living and do better for themselves and their kids.
All right, just to recap here, deportation operations are expected to start this week in major U.S. cities.
We'll, of course, continue to monitor this story for you and if it will impact families right here in Connecticut.